Hi, and welcome to this session on teaching with the iPad. During this screencast, I will share with you some of the tips and tricks for using and teaching with the iPad. One of the first steps you want to take when you're teaching with your iPad is to organize your apps into folders. And the reason for this is that when displaying your iPad and using it during a lesson, you want to be able to easily access apps. So in order to create a folder on the home screen, you're just going to tap on an app and drag it onto another. And then it will create a folder and you'll be able to title it for organization. For example, if I grab this one, you'll see as I grab music and I hold it on top of the iTunes, it automatically creates a folder. And this, it kind of defaults to music. It can tell what category it should be in, but you're able to go in, delete, and retitle it whatever you'd like. And that's for your organization. So you'll see on my own iPad, I have my Google Tools in one. I labeled that when I did one for my Apple iWorks apps. Then I have one for primary apps. So it's easy to just organize it into whatever system you want to use for yourself. Another tool that will come in handy, a tip, is utilizing your multitasking status bar. That's the bar down here on the bottom where you see my settings icon. So this right here also is just another great feature and it's where you want to keep your most used apps for easy access during your teaching. So if I'm teaching today and I know I need to access my Chrome, having it here makes sense. But let's say I'm going to teach and I want to use my Venn diagram app today. I want to do some comparing and contrasting with my students. So I can easily move this app out and put this one in, so that when I'm teaching, I don't have to try to search for it. It'll already be down here in my multitasking status bar. So it won't take me 2 seconds to click on it during my lesson and keep my flow of my lesson going well. But for example, if all of a sudden it becomes a teachable moment and I'm thinking right then, well, I can actually pull up maybe my Google Slides, and I've created one that will go well with this lesson, but I don't want to go through and try to find that app really quickly, you can utilize your Spotlight search. That's what it's for. So with the Spotlight search, if you take your finger and drag down the screen, a search window will appear, and then you can just enter whatever it is you're looking for. So here I can enter, let's say, timeline. I can automatically pull up my timeline app, and it will open up my timeline. And what you'll notice is that when you do a search in Spotlight search, like I just did for timeline, and it gives me the top hit for on my iPad, but you'll see it also searches the internet, it searches the iTunes store, it gives me suggested websites. So it gives you lots of different places to search. So even if you were just searching a topic, you can search it here in the Spotlight search really quickly. Another quick tip is the control center. So when I pull up my control center here, you'll see it starts off with these little icons down here. You can just swipe up from the bottom of your screen, and it just gives you that ability to quickly access multiple settings and apps. So I have my Wi-Fi icon here for Bluetooth, the little moon, that's for do not disturb, the bell is for muting, and for my orientation lock, so that whenever I move my iPad, it will not move my screen. I can turn it on or off. Then I can also adjust my brightness with this. So it's just a way to quickly access those tools while working with students. You also see that my clock here, my timer, I can quickly tap that if I need to pull up my timer real quick for my students for, let's say, a quick time pair share. I can pull it up, give them a minute, and start easily. So those things, just looking at organizing your apps into folders, Utilizing your multitasking status bar and your spotlight tool along with the control center are some of the most basic pieces and tips and tricks that will make your lesson flow well if you decide to use your iPad as a teaching tool. Another thing we want to look at is using Safari. So many times when you use Safari, you're searching the internet for content that you're using with your students. So one of the cool things about Safari is if I do a search, let's say I'm going to do all about explorers. Been doing a lot of discussion on explorers and social studies lately. So I go to this website and I'm checking out the information about explorers. And I go into Explorers A to Z. And let's look at Christopher Columbus. So I'm on this web page and I want to use it with my class and do a quick discussion of this during my lesson. But I feel like there's too much on the page, especially here at the top, that's a little distracting for kids. So in order to get rid of that, Safari has a built-in feature called the Safari Reader. If a web page is compatible with Safari Reader, you'll see right up here in the top, as I put some emphasis up here on the URL bar, in the top left-hand corner of this URL bar, you'll see these lines. If you tap on that, it'll remove all of the distracting content from the page. And now you have a nice clean copy to work with your students. And this also comes in handy as a tip to share with your students, especially your students that get distracted easily. When they go to a web page, tap it. And also when you're using any accessibility features like Speak Selection and Speak Screen, this gives it it's able to just read it a lot cleaner.
Christopher Columbus was born in 1951 in Sydney, Australia.
So as you can see with that, how well that works for students and for you in the classroom. Another thing you can do once, like I have created this, and let's say I go ahead and do it ahead of time because I know I want to use this during my lesson with my students. I want to go ahead and if I click on that share sheet, which is the square with the arrow coming out of the top of it, this gives me some of my options. So I want to go down here. This just gives you all the places that you can share it. So if I wanted to share it with my students, I could share it through my Google Classroom if I wanted to. But I want it just for myself. So I can click Add to Home Screen. And when I do that, it is going to sit up here. It's going to automatically become an icon on my home screen. So now during my lesson, I don't interrupt the flow of my lesson. I can automatically pull that up and pull up the reader view of it and share with my students. Also, you have the ability to also add it as a bookmark. If you don't want to put it on your home screen, and you know that you can do that. You add it as a bookmark, and then you can just tap on your bookmark icon here on the left hand side, and you'll see that now I have the bookmark here for All About Explorers, Christopher Columbus. So I can access it easily there as well. So also if I tap on my share sheet, you'll just see all the other ways that you can share this with others or add it as a favorite or make a copy or even add it to your reading list. So there are several options there, especially when you're thinking about how you're going to do it and when you're setting up your lesson and using your iPad to present information to your students. Another thing is in Google and on Safari is when you're looking for images for your students or for your lesson. So if I do my search for Christopher Columbus and I come to images, you can always go into your search tools, and on your PC it also gives you an option when you click search tools for the usage rights. But on this, on the iPad, I can just take this image of Christopher Columbus, and you tap on it, save image, and it automatically goes into your camera roll, so you can pull it up later if you need to, and you have that ready to go. The last thing I want to share with you when teaching with your iPad is just having a good interactive whiteboard to use while you're walking around with your students and discussing things, and maybe when you want to draw attention to items or work with problems or even annotate on a piece of text. And there are two of them that I recommend, either Show Me or Edge of Creations, but today I'm just going to look at Show Me. So you can download this app, and Show Me has a lot of functionality for teaching with your iPad. So just as I said, most of the time when you're teaching, you're going to start with images a lot of times. And if you just need a plain blank slate, this is also a good place to start as well. You'll see here at the top here, the A, that's your text. You just tap on it and it'll give you a text box so you can type your text in. And of course your eraser, the picture icon, I can choose a photo, and I'm going to choose one here. And you'll see it has like a blue border on it. That means I can move it around. So once I tap out of it, it gives me my toolbar back. But if I want to do it again, I just hold my finger on it and I can move it around however I like. Unless I just want to have a quick discussion with my students on this, about this photo, I can tap on my color palette up here, choose a color, maybe highlight or draw emphasis to a piece in this picture, and have a quick discussion with the students. Maybe I may want to add other photos. And let's say this leads to more discussion on something else, and I want to search for images on the web. You can also do that within this app. So I can search for my images and add them to the screen as well. So there's so much you can do with this, along with there's a feature for recording as well. And if I tap on my arrows at the top, I can go to another page and continue throughout my lesson. So as you can see, your iPad is a great tool for teaching, and think about that during your next lesson when you're getting ready to plan. You can discuss with your DIS for your school, and they will help set up Air Server on your iPad. On your computer, because you need Air Server on your computer for your iPad to talk to your computer. So in your control panel, you will see when I pull up AirPlay, I have my computer here is listed here in the in this drop down box, I guess you could say. And when I tap on it, that's what causes it to project to my computer so that it can project onto my screen. So just talk to your DIS and they'll be more than happy to help you get that set up as well. And have a great day.